Hey guys, it was good. Triple J Boxing. So Israil the Dream Madrimov, he just lost to Terence Crawford in a very close fight that could have went either way. To be honest, if there was going to be an excuse for a judges this time on making a bad scorecard, this would be the fight to do it because it was just so hard to score, and it's depending on what you were looking at. The power shots of Madrimov, or the jab, good body work of Crawford, and activity. And then the other guy, Madrimov, had the very good accuracy and the more heavy shots. And it was just, it was hard to score. But he lost, guys. But moving forward, do we want to see a rematch? And do you believe it deserves a rematch? In my opinion, I think it was competitive to the point where you didn't know who the winner was really until the last two rounds, in my opinion. If Crawford didn't turn it up in those last two rounds, I mean, it would have been very hard for me to definitively pick someone. And like I said, I haven't went back and scored it and wrote down on a piece of paper who I thought won, like each in every round. But I mean, going into the 10th, I thought it was like, it was a pick 'em. But I feel like Crawford separated himself a little bit in those last two rounds. So it was highly competitive, the highest level of competitiveness you can have in a fight, let's be honest. It was a chess match in there, a high-level chess match at the two top guys in their profession. And this is what boxing's about. Now, I want a rematch. It deserves a rematch. Israil deserves a rematch. But I think one of the commentators said on DAZN, I think it might have been Chris Mannix or somebody, or I don't know who it was, but they said Terence Crawford's not going to want this rematch, nor will there be a really demand for it. I just don't see it happening, he said. And I thought about it after he said it, and then, because I was thinking rematch right after the fight, right? But then after he said that, it kind of made sense to me when I thought about it logically. Will Terence Crawford want a rematch? He probably won't, because there's just not going to be enough demand for it. I know like the hardcores will maybe like to see it because it was that close. But I mean, the casual's not going to want it, I don't think. And the money won't be astronomical for the rematch because Madrimov wasn't really that well known anyway to begin with. So unless Turki Al-Sheikh puts up a really big payday for Crawford in the rematch, compared to the other fights on the table, I just don't see it happening in that aspect. Not that Terence Crawford's afraid or anything to take the rematch because it was competitive and it was close and he doesn't want to deal with that again. But the fact that money-wise and demand-wise, I don't think there's going to be enough incentive for him to take the fight. And like I said, the only reason I could see this fight happening again, the rematch, is if it was a clear robbery, which it wasn't. It was a close fight. Or Turki Al-Sheikh gives him tons of money in the rematch, more than the other fights on the table, or the same or something. Because I just don't see the hardcores and especially the casuals clamoring for a rematch, really. So, yes, I want to see a rematch. If there was going to be any deserving of a rematch, it would be Israil Madrimov. A lot of people thought he won the fight. It was that close. He landed the harder shots. He landed the better power shots. He had the higher accuracy. He selected his punches. Like he threw less punches than Crawford, but he picked his shots very well. And his power shots definitely had an effect on Crawford more than Crawford's shots had an effect on him. He had the power and strength of his punches definitely showed up in this fight. He had thudding power. Like, you could just hear his shots. Even when they would land on Terence Crawford's guard, they would have an effect on Terence a little bit. And not to say that Terence punches didn't have an effect on Madrimov. He did land good shots that definitely got the attention of Israil. But I feel like overall, the power shots were definitely way more effective for Israil Madrimov. And he really used the feints and the upper body movement. Throughout the whole fight, he kept Terence Crawford guessing and uncomfortable. And vice versa. Crawford shut down Madrimov's jab and kept him from completely taking over with his offense. So it was a highly competitive matchup that deserves a rematch. I hope it happens, but I mean, Crawford is running out of time if he wants to get that Canelo fight. I feel like the Canelo fight is really the only fight I want to see Crawford fight, to be honest. Like, when I look at the list of other guys, and I'll talk about in another video because this is more just about, does Israil Madrimov deserve the rematch, which he does, but I want to know your guys' opinion on it. I don't think it will happen off of what I just said. But, yeah, so, I mean, Terence Crawford, he's got Virgil Ortiz, he's got Sebastian Fundora, Tim Tszyu, Jermell Charlo. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on those fights. I think the Charlo fight is probably the best fight on, like, selling wise, just because they've had beef in the past, and that was Spence's, one of his training buddies, one of his friends, and he talked a lot of shit, the Charlos, towards Crawford, I think. So I think that fight would sell good. I would like to see that fight just to see Crawford beat him. But obviously you got Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz, and Sebastian Fundora for another belt, and then you got what's his name, the Russian guy with the belt too, which I don't think that fight will really sell that good. What's his name, Martazaliev. So you got him, Barkram. But really, when you think about it, guys, the only fights that really would sell good and really enhance his legacy, I guess he'll get another belt if he collects all the belts. That's going to enhance his legacy, I guess. If he wants to unify all the belts, then he can do it that way. He can enhance his legacy that way. But I mean, in my opinion, I feel like Canelo's the last fight for him to really cement something special. Because I feel like he beats Sebastian Fundora or he beats Virgil Ortiz. Is that going to enhance his legacy? Not really, but he'll get a belt here or there, right? Like I said, other than unifying that division, those guys' names aren't going to really enhance his legacy at this point that much. It still will be good wins, don't get me wrong. But I feel like Canelo is the last guy to really enhance his legacy to something special. But, yeah, guys, for Israil Madrimov, if he can't get the rematch, I mean, these guys that are in the division they're gonna be struggling with Madrimov. No one is gonna want to fight Israil Madrimov after this fight, guys. Even though he lost, they seen with their eyes what he's capable of. No one is gonna want to fight him because the payday will be still good, because he probably gained a lot of fans off of Terence fight, right? So his stock definitely went up. So the paydays won't be terrible for someone facing him, but I mean, like, that's high risk. Like, they won't want to fight him. They'll rather fight someone for a similar payday, or like they'll rather fight Terence Crawford, right? They won't want to fight, like, you got people like Virgil Ortiz, Tim Tszyu, Jermell Charlo. You got tons of guys in the division. Erickson Lubin, Buracek. Who else you got? Yeah, the Barkram, the Russian guy. All of these guys are gonna struggle with Madrimov. Like, let me tell you guys, I think Madrimov is arguably the best guy in the division. Him and Crawford are the best guys. So if he can perform like that against Crawford, what do these guys have a chance against Madrimov? It's going to be a tough outing to beat Madrimov, and I think they know that after seeing this. Obviously, styles make fights go differently, but I mean, like, he proved that his skill level and his IQ is on Crawford's level, and none of these guys, I don't think, have the IQ of a Crawford. So none of these guys have an IQ or skill level of Madrimov either. So it's going to be interesting, guys. As long as Madrimov keeps his head up and he stays focused, I mean, I think he's going to get another belt. He's going to become champion again. It's just a matter of time. As long as he stays focused. He's only 29, so he's still young. He's in his prime. And what he displayed here, I favor him versus all these guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you favor him against Ortiz? Do you favor him against Fundora, Tim Tszyu, Charlo? let me know, because I do. After seeing this, I favor him versus all those guys. So it's going to be interesting. If he can't get that Crawford rematch, I'm gonna be really interested in who's gonna want to fight him, because I think him and Crawford are by far the best guys in the division. What they just displayed tonight. So, and I'm not saying that these guys can't beat him. Styles make fights. Virgil Ortiz is a beast, but he just the IQ and the skill level that Madrimov displayed. It's gonna be hard for these guys, like a knockout puncher for Ortiz, to just get him out of there, to just knock him out. It's not gonna be easy. And then you got Fendora. I feel like Madrimov could easily break him down, that tall, lanky frame, right? Tim Tszyu, another style I would favor Madrimov. But all these fights are definitely good, tough fights for anybody. But I think Madrimov and Crawford have separated themselves from the pack. That's my opinion on it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about that. Will there be a rematch? Do you want to see a rematch? And if not, do you see anybody posing a problem to Madrimov? Like, who do you favor against Madrimov besides Crawford going forward? This is Triple J Boxing. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.